Hi, guys. Welcome to the Marketing Matters podcast. Here we talk about marketing trends, ad strategy, tech developments, and anything in between. I'm your host, Steve.
I'm Vicky. Welcome.
Welcome. Now, I think, Vicky, this pod may have to be soon renamed the Elon Musk News Pod because guess what? The news today again is about Elon Musk. And in fact, he's making headlines twice. Now, to be fair, we are not the ones who make this news, we just report it. And today we are reporting about X ban on Brazil, as well as his attempt to take over YouTube. But then there's also another news item that if you are a Canva subscription, you may want to stick around and watch. So Vicky, your least favorite billionaire is in trouble again. And this time he is in trouble with authorities, and not American authorities, but the Brazilian ones. And the Brazilian government has accused him since April about him. They have been in a legal, let's call it a legal battle, because it has gone up to the Supreme Court, and last week they gave a ruling. But they have been accusing him of facilitating the spread of misinformation on X, specifically through some accounts that are the government is saying are spreading misinformation, and these accounts belong to what we would call the followers of the former not prime minister, the former president of Brazil. So it's more of a political tussle, but X was told by government to ban those accounts or more or less block them, and Elon Musk refused it, saying that he cannot ban free speech and whatnot. And the why it's contentious is because Brazil had a government had an election in 2022, and the now former government, who was a right winger, what we would call conservatives, was now lost the election, and we have this new guy in government. But he's been giving him so much trouble, and the guy is unrelenting. And of course, social media is one of the places that you get a lot of discourse. So the Brazilian government told Elon to switch off that. To block those guys, but Elon said he cannot block them because it is it's a freedom of speech issue. But then they're like, yes, freedom of speech, but they have limitations and we have our own regulations. So because they refused it, now they banned the whole app in Brazil. And in fact, they not only banned the app, they have even asked the providers of not only the internet service providers, but even the companies like Google and Apple to actually remove it from their Play Store. So it has escalated quite significantly, and it's a developing story. But for now, Elon has been banned in Brazil, and even I think, if I'm not wrong, the legal office has been closed. Excess legal office and representative have closed shop in Brazil. I suspect that this might have other repercussions, but I just want to hear what your thoughts are, especially with regards to what we would call free speech, and content platforms, as well as how governments are implementing their force in terms of what social media should and should not be doing on users.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I I think it's unfortunate that it's somewhat political related. Like you will not really. It's very hard to really be on against Elon's side because now it seems to be politically um, he's disadvantaged somewhat because it's political of his political disagreement or something. I don't know. So I feel like it's not a it's like a biased situation. However, I would agree on one thing. I think there was a phrase that one of the justice said. I think it's called Flavio. He argued that freedom of expression is closely linked to a duty of responsibility. And I remember there was a time we talked here about freedom of speech. Like when we say it's freedom of speech, we also have to be uh, uh, cognizant of the platform you're using, the rules that are there. You also have to be you also need to recognize the people around you, the environment. There has to be some limitations and boundaries that you have to follow. Else, if we allow a country that is lawless, it means everything is going to fall out of place. So I think that's one of the things that I would agree with the justice of Brazil. However, I was just thinking, there's this phrase that says, when it rains, it pours, like the ban was not just to stop allowing of this information, but to evacuate. Like, we don't want to see your app anymore. That was a
Yes.
very harsh ruling. And this tells us something to learn as businesses. You can't depend on one platform. Because now imagine, I think Brazil was also mentioned as one of the good, I would say one of the countries that has good clients for X. So this was
Just
an
showing some stats
unfortunate
there
thing.
on the screen. It's the sixth largest market for X.
Yeah, so if it's the sixth largest, you see how many people are being affected. So even as businesses, this tells you, do not depend on one platform. Work on at least more than one platform. And even as you work on these platforms, be sure that anything can happen any day, anytime. So ensure that if you're generating leads, drive them out of the platform and take them either to your email list, to your contact list, to your website. Do not only depend on one platform. At least when this platform is banned or there's something goes wrong, you still have your contacts or you have your information that you can use later on. So I would, this is something that we have just learned, and I would also recommend other businesses to do that. You never know tomorrow what it holds, especially with these social media platforms. Yeah,
Yeah, talk
so,
about.
but however, I'll say that the compliance of these social media platforms on the different countries, I think the restrictions are also somehow becoming gray areas. Like it's just now a matter of who is right according to who. So
Interpretation.
yes, it's just the interpretation, and therefore it becomes hard now to even be on whose side, because now you have to really listen to the court ruling, the court case, for you to really understand why this is so, why this company was sued and the likes. Because I think even Google was also facing the same this week, but now they have become we're having so many lawsuits that
Mm.
now you just say these are gray areas. We hope that they'll be able to sort their problems. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true because X is not the only platform that has been banned in Brazil. They banned last year Telegram, and a few years back they also banned Meta. Still on the same issues where they were saying they were not adequately moderating those platforms for false information. And interestingly, there are other countries that X has been banned, and I believe Russia. They are banned in Russia. They are banned in Pakistan, and most recently in Venezuela. And not to say that to cast any aspersions, but if you look at these countries that are banning these social media platforms, uh, China, Iran, Egypt temporarily banned X and other social media platforms a while back. You find that there is also a trend about those countries. Most of them are heavily authoritarian, but also even if they are let's say democratic in quotes, they also have a lot of issues in terms of how government overreach and its attempt to control social media platforms. And my view on this whole issue with X is that it's not necessarily an X issue. Of course, Elon Musk has a way of just amplifying things to suit his own gain, and I suspect that this is one of those cases where he's amplified the whole thing, something that could have been addressed more amicably. But my fear is that countries are getting more and more radical. Not only the authoritarian countries, but even the would be the countries you would assume are democratic are getting more and more aggressive in terms of trying to control the narrative of their people, especially on the social media platform. And I think the biggest problem any government face, whether democratic or authoritarian or dictatorial, the biggest challenge they face right now is control of information. Previously, they could just control the media houses, but right now, it is very hard to control individual users of the platform, especially if there are no restrictions. So, I think it's a very delicate balance for people to like you said earlier, rights and responsibilities. You can't just speak misinformation because you have the right to speak, but it's also very dangerous to now limit people who have contrary opinions to be able to express their thoughts, and it's happening not only even in Brazil, but all across even Europe. Africa. There was even a time that we suspected in the Kenyan market that there was an attempt by the government to block people's um, opposition to what the government was doing. So it's a very, for me, I feel very, I feel I am. It's a very personal issue for me because I think that one of the only ways most people have to air their grievances or concerns is usually through these platforms, because the governments have been very very heavy handed in the way they handle people in the physical space and through media. And when you have a social media platform that is a place for people to just share their thoughts without any issue, without any fear of repercussions, it's actually quite an important media in my view, and it should be protected at all costs.
Yeah, I think you're very right, Steve. We just hope that even as we continue going on with these regulations and restrictions, we'll reach a point where at least there'll be some agreement, and also there'll be at least you'll be able to now understand, and even both the social media platforms and also the governments and all those people who are uh, doing the lawsuits, they'll be able to understand each other, and it will not be like just looking at anything and everything about, but it will be uh, very very serious issues that are really causing individuals or businesses, or they're really impacting them in a negative way to cause them to have such lawsuits.
Yeah, and now for X, it's getting even worse. Remember, since 20 when Musk took over, I think it was in 2022. Ever since 2022, Musk, of course, took it and took it private. But ever since 2022, it has been reported that the company has never gone back to profitability, which is quite a concerning trend. Now, when one of your biggest market is also impacted, the beauty is now X is no longer a public company. But if it was a public company, it would have to, try to find ways to work with the government to ensure that its business is protected. Because right now, the revenues are dwindling, its market share is getting attacked by other platforms, and then now you add these issues of being banned on different platforms because of disagreeing with the government. Now, love them or hate them, whatever government is in place has the right to rule as it pleases. It's up to the people to decide whether it's a bad government or a good government. And Musk has also been accused of trying to be the president of the world through X. So it's also a very big concern. But like you said, on the marketing end, as a business, you ought to try to diversify on your channels for whether your brand as well as your reach and leads, but also you as a person who is guiding the strategy. Then you can such issues can help you extrapolate or try to plan when you're planning how to do a campaign and say, okay, the challenges that this platform is facing might be a big risk for the success of my campaign or my brand. Yeah. Okay. So still on X, Vicky, maybe this is positive news because Elon last week announced that the beta version for what he calls XTV is ready, and it's currently only available in America, but it will be available for Android TVs and any type of smart TV. They're working with LG, Samsung, and all the others to integrate it in their OSs. But X is trying slowly, steadily, but surely, um, moving their content, not only text but videos, and not just videos, long form videos. They moved to long form text. The subscriber, if you're a subscriber to the premium, you can text. I can't even remember the word limit, but it's X posts are these days looking like blog posts, but they are also moving to long form videos. And when you talk about long form videos, only one company comes to mind, which is YouTube, the biggest video platform in the world. In fact, YouTube is bigger than even Netflix in terms of users and streaming revenue. So there is a lot of competition in terms of people trying to take over the market share of YouTube. And I would like you to speak about especially TikTok versus YouTube, and what your thoughts are, because there was some I was listening to other podcasts, and they were talking about YouTube is so big that while TikTok has a lot of engagement and users, TikTok content creators have ended up using TikTok as a lead generator to YouTube, because the monetization mechanism in YouTube is the best in the industry. And even if you are a content creator with 1 million followers on TikTok, you cannot generate the same revenue you would if you had, in at least in the developed markets, maybe 50,000 or 100,000 subscribers who are actively engaging on your platform. So I just want to hear your thoughts about what XTV is, and whether you think it is truly a formidable competitor um, for YouTube, and what exactly this would mean. Because while it's going to be like a TV, they're saying they're going to add features where you can watch content, not only just stream X content, but you can watch movies, you can watch sports, you can watch music or stream music, and like he's trying to make not only the platform to be an extension of X, but trying to reimagine what X could be for users. And Musk is a very one of the is a very stubborn innovator, and most of the things he innovates actually work. So I will not write him off, especially on what he wants to do with XTV, and making it a platform that not only works as a social media platform but also as a streaming platform. Vicky?
Um, I don't know. I think you're saying most of the things he's doing are successful, but I find I find him wanting to launch everything. Like you want to be a competitor to everyone,
No,
because
he doesn't
now
want to be a competitor. He's not even actually interested in competition. He just wants to create stuff.
now whatever he's creating is becoming a competitor to another company. So even if he
Very
doesn't want, he's doing it.
yes.
And I'm just thinking. But in terms of Google, I
Mhm.
I I don't think they are really a threat to Google, unless we see now the new features that they'll be adding on the new XTV. Because one of the major topics they say they're going to focus on is the Google AI powered topics. So maybe that will give them a competitive advantage. But for them to really reach a point where they will say that they are now competing almost at the same level with Google, that will really take a lot of time, a lot of investment, which I don't know if that's what their plan is. And also, I'm just trying to think. X currently, how do you access X? You use their browser, you use Google to access X, and then now you want to go to your sort of like your provider and you want to compete with him on a different platform. That is just so interesting. And then also, I'm also thinking, unless on these developed countries, but now when you look at even the media stations, they are, as much as they have their platforms, the news platforms and the likes, for some reason they also take their information to YouTube. So I don't know how X will be able to ensure that now they remain uh, independent, that they don't depend on YouTube to be able to again grow their audience and also share their information to their users. I don't know, but we just wait to see how much they are going to implement on the new TV. But they really need to do a lot of work, because what Google has done on YouTube is again a lot, especially after the rise of videos from 2020. Now, if you are to compare, I think you would also mention I compare the TikTok and the YouTube. For me, I think they serve a different audience. Short form videos are majorly on TikTok, and they serve that audience, like people who mostly they just want to get information, brief information, or brief tips, or they just someone is just away, wants to be away from work and maybe search something, or to be entertained, but not to have his mind so occupied. You want to just distract yourself. It's more like a social media, like Facebook, but now here you're watching more videos. So it's serving that kind of market. People who just want information. If it's information, it should be to the point. If it's entertainment, it should not be too long. It should just be something that will make me laugh and I move on to something else. I'm distracted. I don't want to be focused on one thing for long. But YouTube, on the other hand, serves people who are searching for more information. They serve people who want to know, even if it's entertainment, they want to sit and watch like a movie, like they want to really be entertained. If it's information about what, if they're searching for maybe something they need to know, or something they need to learn, they want to learn in details. If you give them a video that is short form, sometimes it's not helpful to that kind of audience. So they serve different audiences, and that's why you find the monetization of YouTube is higher or better than TikTok. And also remember, monetization also goes with the number of watch hours. And when you have long form videos, you're encouraging people to watch your videos for long hours. So that will increase your kind of monetization. And then
But that is
lastly,
the
the
model for you.
monetization. Yes.
Like that is the model for YouTube. For TikTok, it's just the eyeballs that you bring.
Yes, but I'm saying, you see, because you're making people to watch more, as in
Mm,
it allows you to earn more. Even when you look at video shorts, the YouTube
mm,
shorts,
mm.
for you to be able to earn or to be monetized on YouTube shorts, you need to have, I think, 1 million views. I think, I'm not sure, but I think 1 million views. So it means you need more. Even in TikTok, you need more for you to be monetized. You
Yes,
get, so
because
it
the
requires more
more
compared
eyeballs,
compared
you
to.
understand the time.
Yes, yes. So it's easy to get someone to watch your video for longer hours compared to getting more than 10,000 people to just watch a video. You get? It's like
Mm.
you're searching for many people to watch, as opposed to you're searching for few people to watch longer. So that's why the monetization in YouTube is better. And then also, um YouTube has been there for a long time, and even when it comes to adverts, companies are trusting YouTube to advertise, even in terms of the payment that businesses or individuals make when they are advertising on YouTube is favorable compared to TikTok. So you'll find companies are investing money on YouTube to be able to advertise their products or service, as opposed to TikTok, which you have to pay for more on a month to month basis to be able to reach a wider audience. Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, I think also most advertising content right now has been developed with the content format that is for YouTube. But as time develops, more and more businesses are going to start creating, and we can help you with that also, to start creating ads that are also aligned with the way the TikTok platform works. Because if you have an ad for 1 minute on YouTube, it can work well, but for TikTok, you might suffer because the ad has the period, the timeline that your ad is running versus how long a user is going to be willing to accept to be distracted is also a big problem in terms of social media and how big YouTube and how hard it is to displace YouTube. There was a time, I believe, in 2019 where advertisers boycotted YouTube because they said, YouTube. There was a scandal about YouTube displaying ads on what they would call content that was hateful. I think there was issues about maybe those people who are commenting uh, explicit content. So advertisers boycotted, but it didn't take long. I think it was barely a year before they were back, because you can hate them or love them, but as long as a platform brings audiences, I can assure you, businesses are usually very flexible on their ethics or on their morality or on their values, especially when it comes to where are the customers or where is the money. So I suspect that even as we talk about social media, mask and banning and what XTV will do, as long as Musk is able to bring audiences, however way he'll do it, whatever type of audiences those will be, there will be an advertiser ready to advertise on that platform. Because any advertiser, the whole point of an advertiser is, where are my customers or where are potential customers, and which platform gives me the best access to these customers and the best ability to convert them to from leads to clients. Um, any further thoughts, Vicky, before we move to story, final story?
Um, yeah, I think it's just as you have mentioned, and yeah, I think at the end of the day, even when we did the report on the comparison of media consumption in Kenya, I'm sure it applies to. It's almost similar in, especially in African countries, and you realize TikTok and YouTube were almost just they were competing against each other. So I think with time, the audience will just be almost the same. It's just that now you're reaching different audiences. So
Yeah,
it's
true.
not that, yeah, it's not that it's YouTube is better or TikTok is better. I think they're just serving different markets.
Yeah, and you just need to understand those platforms. And again,
Yeah.
if you don't know how to capitalize on different platforms, because some businesses or some content creators just use the same content on all platforms and hope that it works. We can help you with that and help you understand how to customize your content for different platforms, and how to make the most out of the platform that probably you have the highest strengths on. And please reach out to us on the comment section, as well as on our website at ashagroupLimited.com for more information. Now, if you're a creator who is on a budget, Canva has always been your go-to platform for coming up with proposals, coming up with slideshows, coming up with graphic design, and soon they are even actually getting more and more into the video space. But Canva is saying that all the work they are putting in to make that platform better, in and including their AI integration, doesn't come cheap. And if you're asking how
Mm.
costly, it is costly enough to justify a 300% price increase in your corporate subscription. Now, corporate subscription is for those people who are using Canva as a team. So if you're using Canva as an individual, you're a Canva Pro subscriber. And if you're using it more than three people, like how would you use it on Asha Group Limited, then the subscription for that is going to go up, and it's going to go up by as much as 300%. Now, the pricing has only come out for the US market, and I think the Australian market. But if you are to extrapolate that to our space, then it's likely going to be quite an increment. For in the US, for example, people who are using Canva Teams, and most people who use Canva Teams are average between 3 to 5 subscribers. Currently, they pay $119 per year. Now it's going to go up to $500, but now they'll give you a 40% discount for the first 12 months if you go on the multi-plan option. But then again, still, that is still a 300% increment from what you're paying, around $120 per annum. And when you translate that to a monthly cost for you to fully understand that the increment is on a per user basis. Initially, when you're paying $120 and you had 5 people on the platform, on the Canva platform in your team, you would pay around $2 per person. But now, right now, or when in the new subscription, which is starting from as soon as next month, for anybody who is renewing new, but anybody who does not have a Canva team, it will start from January. But for new subscribers, when you're renewing for an annual basis, it will now start costing you $8 per month. Now, $8 per month, from $2 per month, is quite a steep increment. But for context, right now, people who are in the US and are paying for the Canva Pro are paying around $10 per month, or $120 per year. Now, in Kenya, the beauty about Canva is it prices regionally. So in Kenya, if you are a Canva Pro subscriber, you usually pay around $6.5, and that is inclusive of um, of tax. Now, that is for the individual subscriber, and that is $6.5 per month. Now, for the people who are on the Canva teams in Kenya, they pay around $5, inclusive of taxes, for their subscription. Now, while they are saying that the Canva Pro has not been affected, I highly suspect that in the next year, come maybe in the next 6 months, when they see that, in fact, they don't even need to see it. When they are able to justify to the users, or make the features even more useful, the AI features, I suspect that surely, or I can conclusively predict, or I can sorry, I can confidently predict that in the next few months, Canva Pro will also go. Will also see an increase in its pricing. Maybe not 300%, but definitely. But there's going to be an increase in pricing, because what Canva teams will do is that it will incentivize people to now move to Canva Canva Pro. Because if you are a 5 team company, then you'll say, okay, let's just limit it to 3 users and then move the 3 users to Canva. Because you see, businesses look at it in absolute terms, not per user basis. They're saying, if it costs me $500 per year, let me just, to maintain my usage of $120, or maybe just increase it to 300. Let me reduce the people who use or are able to use Canva Teams, which then makes them subscribe to the Canva Pro. And I suspect that will also then make these guys move Canva Pro up so that they don't cannibalize the Canva Teams pricing. But I don't know, Vic, is this? Do you think these price increases are justified?
I think when I've used Canva for years now, and I would say I have benefited from their service, and they have valid reasons why they need to adjust their costs. However, I feel that their cost is high, like they have adjusted on the higher side.
Mm,
I and one of their emphasis was the reason why their justification on why their cost is high is because they were saying they are going to have the Magic Studio features. That is, they are going to include AI powered design tools to make your content more accessible, more creative. And I'll just mention a few things that they're saying they're going to do, like what the designs that you're going to create, like you'll be able to instantly edit the images using
in
generative
fact, they're not saying
AI.
they're going to do. They're actually features that are existing.
Yes,
They're
yeah,
just
they're
saying.
actually doing it. They're saying with the magic switch, something we call the magic switch, it allows you to transform an existing design to different formats. Like, for example, if you have a poster, you can
Works
transform it to
well.
a
That
blog,
works very well.
into an email, into a social media post. And therefore, because you are doing it in the simplest way possible, then you deserve to make uh, a good, like you deserve to make the payment, because they are really helping you simplify your work and make your work efficient. And then, of course, they are saying the feature will also automatically translate your content into 100 different languages, and that also is a good thing, especially those businesses that
International
are
brands.
working in different countries, that are also meeting different audiences, and then of course they also mentioned that you can have a multi-channel campaigns with a single design, because now if for example you have a poster and you're using it on Facebook, you can now be able to create different campaigns on the different platforms like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and the poster will be redesigned in a way that will fit those social media platforms. So that is also a good thing. And then, of course, they were saying you could also generate short videos or images to text and text to image. Like you can be able to do that. Also, reposition, resize, and many others. So I think the AI integration is something that has made them feel like they're going to really give you something that will help your social media, your content creation be on a higher level. So uh, maybe that's why they're justifying their cost. However, from my end, I feel that they've put it on a higher side. Maybe they needed to adjust it, but not that high. They also
It's
mentioned that,
mm,
yes,
carry
they
on.
also mentioned that they one of the reasons that they also actually it's like in their website they have talked about um, as much as we have AI generated tools, we also want to support the content creators. So they announced that they are going to pay out over $200 million in the next 3 years for designers who consent to having their content to be used to train for the AI models. Like they'll pay you to have your content to be used to generate information for the audience. So that is also something that they're working on, and which according to them they feel that they're also supporting the content creators. So maybe the cost is also going to pay the content creators, hence the justification of the high cost.
Yeah, when you say the cost is high, I always look at cost relative to other platforms. Now, um, Canva is nowhere near Adobe Photoshop, but Canva does quite a bit. If you're a graphic designer, Canva can help you do quite a lot. Now, Canva pricing from moving to around on a per user basis, moving the pricing to around $10, no, yeah, $8 for teams. I think it is still quite a reasonable pricing because Canva is the second largest platform after Adobe, and I hope you can just see that screen. Adobe Suite in design, Photoshop are dominating the market, and I can tell you confidently that Adobe Photoshop is dominating the market because most designers who are using Adobe Photoshop are in the corporate setting. So you'll find that Adobe Photoshop is a popular platform, but mostly because it's being used by the corporate world. And when corporate entities um, uh, enter into these arrangements, they usually do it long term, and most of the entities are usually not too conscious on the pricing. Canva is used by a lot of people in the small and medium size market, but it is the second largest um, platform, controlling almost 10% of, not almost, more than 10% of the market. Now, Adobe Photoshop will cost you around $23 per month for you to use it as an individual user. When you're using it as an enterprise or as a business, it can go all the way to around $50 because then they add the integrations and whatnot. So when Canva moves their pricing from $2 to $10, in my view, it is still a justifiable increment because the features, like you said, still make your works. You don't even need to be, of course, when you are a graphic designer, your Canva designs will be even 10 times better. But as just a normal content creator who focuses on churning out content on YouTube or on the other social media platform, Canva allows you to do quite a lot that if you were given Adobe Photoshop, you would not do anything, and you would be paying quite a significant amount. So when they increase that pricing, in my view, I think it's justifiable. And any business that is offering value, I always say value for value. If you're receiving value, I don't think the value you're receiving is probably worth more than the $10 you're paying, because that $10 allows you to generate as many images or as many designs as you want. So while Adobe Photoshop will cap that to around 500 designs. So there is also a lot of flexibility that Canva has allowed, especially to the businesses that are in the freelancing, or the freelancing designers, but also the people who are the businesses that are in the small market segment. And I think in my view, it's a fair. It's only that when you say when it's reported as 500% increment, it sounds like a big figure, but $500 a year for a business, that is a reasonable platform, a reasonable fee to pay for a digital platform. I don't know if you have any other thoughts before we close on that
You,
chapter.
Steve, I'm thinking, when you are working with a company for your, let's say uh, you are you are one of the clients
Mm.
that that Canva has, and then you increase the amount, or you increase the amount by that high percentage. You will not, you it is you really have to justify why it has to go that high. You can't tell me that you
They
are now
have
increasing the price because I'm still lower than Adobe Photoshop.
no, no,
That's
no, no.
not a
That is their
reason for me
reasoning.
as a client.
Yes. Adobe has
That's
already
what I'm
given, not
saying.
Adobe, Canva has given you the reasoning. Me, I'm telling you, on the business end, they are pricing, they are confident of the pricing because they are still way lower than the market leader.
Yeah, they're low, but from my end, I was saying the cost has been, like, as much as it's still low, it's high because you have, I don't know, you have increased the price in like 400, 500%. That's a high. a high increase.
But in absolute
Even if
terms,
you
is
are
that
still
really high?
lower, even
Vicky,
if you're
if
still
you
lower.
let me look at it this way: if you increase a price, if you increase your product price that is priced at $10, if you increase it to $20, that is a 100% increase, right? But
Mm-hmm.
in absolute terms, is $20 an expensive for your product? That's how you need to look at it. When you look at the percentages, it can sometimes create an impression that it's an expensive product. The question is a product that is costing 10,000 moving to 20,000 the same as a product that is costing $10 moving to $20? So in terms of the increment, all of them have moved by 100%. But in terms of the absolute amount that somebody is paying, is that a significant increment? That's how you need to look at it. That's how I would look at it. So that when I say it is there, I feel that the pricing is not too high. It's because I am also we are users of Canva, and the value we derive from that platform. It is, if I were told to pay an additional $10 for that platform, I still would feel that I'm not overpaying for that platform. In fact, right now I feel like I'm underpaying for that platform because I get a lot of features.
Okay.
Okay, you have decided to stop your argument there.
Yeah,
Anyway,
as in your reasoning makes sense. It's just that I'm saying the increase is still high. Even if they have valid reason.
and
Yeah.
I've actually shared with you the designer, the competitors, and I can tell you, majority of the users do not even know half of those other competitors, which suggests
But
that
now it will make me now go and find
explore.
out these other
I tell you,
competitors if they are giving me value for the price that they are offering.
that's the thing. That's
You
the thing.
see,
You
if
also
if you
appreciate
are if
behavior. You need to appreciate consumer behavior. Very few people, even the freelancers, like switching, because Canva has like Canva's designs. When you are designing on Canva, they are still as part of the Canva platform. You don't have the masters of those documents, so you cannot take a document you designed on Canva and take it to another platform and start designing. So they have already hooked most of the customers, because if you are designing on Canva and you're running a continuous project, chances are you always go back to that project and make one of few edits, or you design based on that template. So it is hard for people to, well, they can say there is no switching cost because I can try and use the other platform. It will take some time for people to build a portfolio in those platforms that might justify their moving. And I suspect also even these platforms are struggling because a pricing a AI implementation of AI costs these companies quite a huge chunk. And remember, they have to continuously improve so that they stay on edge. And I always say, if you want a company to serve you better, then pay the right price. And I feel uh $20 paying $10 per user for the US market. Kenya, I suspect it will come to around $6 per user for the teams, and the pro will go to $8. But that increment, in my view, is still worth what you're getting. And remember, the enhancements are only going to get better for AI. For those, for us who use the Teams and the Pro version, when you look at what the Magic tool and the other tools allow you to do, actually, in my view, I look at the pricing as in terms of the time savings that I have. Adobe Photoshop is good, but I have to spend a lot of time creating content. Now, if I'm just a content channel, or I'm an agency that has to work with 10 small businesses, I want something that I can in 10 minutes be done with and start now building on that as I share with the client for reviews. But anyway, that has been that's my view on the same. And I suspect maybe the customers who are paying on the pro version or on the tips version might have different views, but that's why we're here. And we'd like to encourage you to please share some of those thoughts, contrary opinions, opinions that you think are in agreement, as well as any areas that you think we need to cover more for your benefit and also for the benefit of this platform. Like, share, subscribe this content, and remember to put on that notification, because we do this content on a weekly basis, and we'd like you to be part of this growth journey. Bye.
bye.